here tonight with just myself. We're just doing a solo episode tonight. Got some things to talk about. Man, shit is hitting the faneth on the social medias. We just last week was the inauguration. The new President Donald Trump, back for his second term, commander in chief. If he won, he said he was going to do things. He has his nominees for all these positions, and we're just going to jump into some the big one that is affecting us in the military is our new big boss, right? The Secretary of Defense. Okay. And so immediately, the new SECDEF, the Honorable Hegseth, I think is how you say his name, Hegseth, it was a split 50-50. When that happens, the vice president gets the tie-breaking vote, and guess what? He voted for yes. Okay, so we got a new SECDEF. All right. I'm gonna go through, and then now as that happened, everything is just being fired out there. Everyone is losing their minds. You got people in hysteria talking about, I'm scared for what's going to happen. I don't even know what that means. Okay. There's some things I agree with, some things I don't agree with that this gentleman has said. But that's anyone that I've served for, under, through, in service with. All right. So maybe just because a more mature level, not often said of me, maybe because I'm more senior and I understand the ebbs and flows of things. I've seen this happen when it was President Obama in 2008, right? And I was a junior sailor, and I seen people rebuking that or like thinking everything was going to go fucking crazy. And maybe they thought it did. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. But we're going to get in a couple things. The first thing we're going to go to a share screen here. All right. Was this nav admin that came out on the 25th. Was this I guess Saturday? Was that Saturday, I think? Yeah. Reference POTUS 20. There's all the references here. We're just scrolling through this. I'm just looking off screen here to my right as I read through this. Right. So this is one of the biggest things that Donald Trump came out was like DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion is going to be done for. Okay. Now, I've talked on this channel before. We'll go back here about diversity. I think diversity is a great thing. Coming up through the ranks, we've always talked about diversity and how diversity makes us stronger, right? People from different backgrounds, with different cultures, all of that makes the military stronger. And I do believe that, all right? I don't think it's a necessity, but I think it is a regular thing because we are America and we are built of people from different backgrounds, from different heritages, cultures, all of that, right? And I love eating all of their food when it's fucking potluck Thanksgiving, okay? I'm all for it. But I don't think when we got away from just diversity of like recognizing that we're all different, okay, and that there's nothing wrong with being different because we're all here to do the same fucking job, right? And that is bring war to where war needs to be brought on behalf of the people and citizens of the United States of America. Not that I agree with every war or that I'm a big warmongerer, okay? No, but that is what a military is for, right? Let's not confuse what this occupation is, okay? So here we'll jump back over the share screen, right? Pursuant to all these references, all agency, diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility, DEIA, offices are closed and all DEI-related contracts terminated in accordance with references, all those up there, right? Excuse me if you hear a little bit of air in the background. I got the heater on. It's pretty chilly tonight. Concerns have been raised that some programs may have been modified in a way that obscures their DEIA objectives. If you are aware of a change in any contract description or personal position description since 5 November, right after the election, to obscure the connection between the contract and DEIA or similar idea, blah, 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 right? So pretty much, Pretty much what they're saying is, if anything right after the election, if offices got scared, like, oh no, Trump won, let's change these things up, which I've seen, I forget what it was an Instagram post that I saw of, there's a position that said like DEI, DEI vice president office or something, and it was a person, like it was their picture. It was like the chain of command thing, right? And so that was up there, and it was this person. So like on Friday, it was the DEI office. On Tuesday, it was just they changed it, and it was just like HR. And it was like that's kind of what this first one's talking about here, right? So now, should that be a concern? I think it should be somewhat of a concern, right? Should we be lying? Should we be lying to the SECDEF, to the president, to the American people about what offices are or not in place? No, I don't think we should be, right? That I think we can separate from the DEI part of it. Some people like DEI, some people don't, okay? The order comes down, execute the order, right? It's not Order 66, okay? It is, I don't think there's anything unlawful about this order. They're saying this part of it is no more, which I have to question, because I follow a lot of politics. I just don't talk a lot of politics. I'll talk about this because it's SECDEF related, mostly. But like for years and years now, I'd say at least like the last 5-ish years, even maybe a little bit more. Definitely, I'd say the 5. We'll go 5, 6. There was a lot of talk about DEI, and there's a lot of talk that it wasn't in the military, right? A lot of people would say, no, it's not in the military. It's not in the military. We're just talking about diversity. And again, diversity is a good thing. But what I kept hearing was like, no, the military doesn't do that. The military doesn't do that. Well, if the military hadn't been doing that for the last 4 to 6 years, right, which is not just the last president, but the last 2 presidents, okay, I spread all the fucking hate and love to everyone here, okay, then why do we have these offices? And furthermore, not just offices here, right, as we continue to read this, why do we have to have this nav admin come out, and why are we having these orders put out like that to say that these are no longer, if so much of a talking point was it isn't in the first place? You picking up what I'm putting down, right? So somewhere along the lines, we were fucking straight up lying. We as a government, we as a military, were lying about what we were training towards and talking about in the military was a damn lie, okay? And depending on what classes you took and who you talked to during your service of the last 46 years, DEI might have been more present or less present. Just saying, okay? Let's get back into this nav admin. There will be no adverse consequences for timely reporting of this information. However, failure to report this information by 01 February 25 may result in adverse consequences. So again, it's saying, hey, you've been given the order. Talk about it now. If you don't, stand by. Heavy rolls and high seas, all right? By close of business January 25, Echelon 2 Command shall report on items, all that, via email to the point of contact, okay? Report completion of cancellation or deletion of all DEIA-related instructions, guidance, naval messages, training requirements, and scheduled training to include training directives, orders, materials, equity, plans, and documents, and public-facing media, websites, social media accounts, social media posts, videos. That, again, we've been saying, no, we don't do it. I'd have to find it on Reddit. I got another Reddit pulled up that we're going to go down and click it to later. But it was the Commander Naval Reserve Forces canceling their statements on all these different DEI /A, whatever. I never heard the A part. But statements. So that's not an instruction. It's just that commanding officer. That's probably like a 2-star or somebody, who, it's kind of like their command philosophy, their leadership philosophy or whatever. They had made a statement about DEI, about this program or that program. It's just their statement, right? And they had to cancel all that. Okay. Like, again, I don't have a problem. Like, and again, look, I'm not going to like pretend like I'm the most intelligent person here. And you could argue both sides of DEI. It's a lot of letters. And the other one that they throw on the other side of that coin is the meritocracy, right? And we could look up that definition, and people argue it's good, not good, and blah, 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 what the fuck ever, okay? I thought we weren't doing this in the military. Now we have orders to get rid of all of it, and all of a sudden, there's a lot of it that's being gotten rid of. It just kind of makes me scratch my head and be like, so were we not, like, we weren't doing this? Like, come on now. Like, we knew we were, okay? So many people knew we were. So many people were doing it because they were being forced to do it. I would like to hear from the senior ranks about what they were being threatened with during COVID, what they were being threatened with DEI, how it was being, some of it, I will use words like forced. Hey, you are going to make a statement about this, or it's going to be your career. Not that I haven't anyone tell me that before. I'm just, highly suspicious and highly, there's probably things like that, right? At certain levels you get to, it starts becoming like that. And certain levels, even if you're ready to retire, if you're not yet eligible, it can fuck up your career if you don't just kind of play along, right? So, I don't doubt that people had to make some statements or put out this or that, and they were not very pro for it, but just to kind of like, stay in the game, they did it. I don't know. You let me know down in the comments if you're one of those people. All right. Report completion and cancellation or deletions of all the DEI related instructions, guidance, enable message, training required. Yeah, all that, right? Okay. Identify any DEI related offices to include the number of civilian employees that conduct DEI work. Oh, look at that right there again, right? Like, so we the government, we the military, we were hiring people for this. Okay. Here's a real kicker. This one right here, remote work. In accordance with these references, the presidential executive order on return to in-person work, additional guidance on the execution of reference E and F is forthcoming. So they're gonna put out some more, right? But this is the preparatory here. Like, get the fuck ready to get back to work, which is crazy because I know where I'm at, up at the next level. There's a lot of people that telework. I'm talking they work for someone in one state, and they're teleworking in 2 states over, 1 state over. Not a long drive down the road through traffic, a whole day drive down the road to get to work. So I'm really interested, again, for where I'm working, like, what is this gonna, like, are these people all gonna be moving? Right? The telework agreements that are in place at my command for people, are those going to be just void and boom, HR's going to be like, nope, everyone's, have your ass at work? I don't know. Again, it's just very interesting, this part of it, right? Civilian employees, we expect DOD will establish a 30-day target date for teleworkers and remote workers. Again, that's kind of what I was talking about. There's people that work in that live and work from home in state A, but the command is in state C. In accordance with Section 3, Paragraph Law, all employees must work full-time at their respective duty stations unless excused due to disability, qualifying medical, or other compelling reasons as certified by the agency head and the employee supervisor. Commanders and senior enlisted leaders senior leaders should encourage their employees to use this time to consider changes they may be required to make, family schedules, travel, blah, blah, all that, right? Establish return to office date. So again, initially, when a lot of people see these headlines, it's like, oh no, they're fucking firing all these people. It's always clickbait bullshit, okay? Maybe this thumbnail was clickbait. Probably not. It's probably boring and won't get that many views. But it's a, hey, look, there's going to be a time, as I said before, forthcoming. But in the meantime, right now, you need to start figuring the fuck out, right? You might need to be like, yeah, I need to find a different job. Or, well, the telework gig is over. We're moving to fucking, Kentucky or wherever, you know what I mean? But it's coming, right? And again, it still leaves it up to commanders and senior leaders to be like, all right, hey, no, you're good. You can continue to telework. This is your reason is good enough, which, again, I'm not going to say like they all need to return to telework, right? But I would say RDOs fucking piss me off. Their required day off where they fucking, they got a 4-day week every other week or some shit, and I need something done on Friday. And a lot of these places where I'm at now, and then even as you move into different like higher levels, there's so many civilians working, which is another, like, I love them. They do a great job. The guys that work for me do a great job. Couldn't do it without them. Could do it with military people still, but, it's maybe another podcast. But when you rely on the civilians so much and they're only working 80% of the time, right? It starts to make things hard. Okay. It just makes things hard. Military personnel, commanders will direct military personnel to return in-person work as soon as practicable. I don't think there's too much of that going on unless you're just fucking, at some fucking place where you've just been skating for 4 years still. I don't know. Social media posts from official accounts at all levels of the Navy are temporarily suspended for 10 days, effective 25 January, with the following exemptions. Social media communication concerning the Department of Defense current operations defending our southern border. This is the top priority for the Department of Defense. Again, so this was out on Reddit, and they made the Reddit poster and people commenting. They made it seem like a huge deal, like, oh my God, the fucking, the president, your commander-in-chief, and this fucking SECDEF, they're not allowing the Navy to post anything to social media. I'm pretty sure I've still seen social media posts. I could check in with someone that's close to that and find out, but let's say there hasn't since the 25th. What I saw was already 2 or 3 days old. Okay. If you've been on a ship, not even a ship, you could be anywhere. When the CO comes out and gives the COs, hey, this is what the fuck we're doing today, and no one's doing anything else, well, then guess what you're doing? That thing, okay? And usually the department head has to go and talk to the XO, right? Or the CO and be like, all right, I got 10 people working on that. I need these 5 working on this other thing, okay? And as long as you can explain it, it's probably okay, all right? But maybe, depending on the situation, maybe the CO's like, no, your other 5 people are not working on that. They're working on the thing I fucking said because I'm the CO and that's what we're doing. Well, guess what? That's what's happening. That's what your commander-in-chief has said, and that's what the SECDEF has said. And we're talking about social media, people. We're talking about MCs and PAOs. Don't post anything unless it has to do with the southern border. Hey, he came out. That's a whole nother topic. Maybe we'll get into another night. But he came out and said it's a national emergency and fucking Marines are on ground over there getting dropped off by V-22 Ospreys, and what they're going to do and how they're doing it, I don't know. But, they're doing it. Okay. Could you not like it personally? I guess. I don't know. But just a little personal mind. Like, if I had a problem with trespassers in my yard, right, and I felt that I was being threatened by them or something, I'd go out and fucking man my front yard too, right? That's how I look at it. The DoD recognizes, let's jump back here, the duty and responsibilities of military installation commanders to inform, blah, blah, blah. It goes on, just says like, hey, it's not, the base and everything should still be running like how the base runs, right? It shouldn't get in morale, welfare, recreation, and commissary operations, right? Like everything should remain normal with your base and services. And then it has some other stuff, right? So that's the nav admin that kicks off. Okay. People salty. People are salty. Okay. And then after the confirmation of the SECDEF, right here we had this. Let me blow this up a little bit. Make this bigger. Oh, maybe too big. There we go. Let me know if y'all can read that, right? This was Friday, right? The 25th, right? No, this was Saturday. Saturday, yeah. Secretary Hegseth's message to the force. It is a privilege of a lifetime to lead the warriors of the Department of Defense. Under the leadership of our Commander-in-Chief, President Trump, Donald J. Trump, we will put America first and we will never back down. Okay. The president gave us a clear mission: achieve peace through strength. We will do this in 3 ways: by restoring the warrior ethos, rebuilding our military, and reestablishing deterrence. For you that we, the Navy, I believe, are the biggest part of reestablishing deterrence. Okay. 70% of the world is water, And as if we control those waterways and we are present there, right, to deter foes and would-be foes, we're in the power position. We're going to win. Now, we'll go from that to really rebuilding our military. All right. I think, maybe I'm selfish, I think the number one priority here has to be the Navy. Okay. I don't know what the Army has going on. I don't know what the Air Force has going on. The Navy, Marines, you're part of us. You're still Department of the Navy. So the amphibious ships, the amphibious platforms, that needs to be having a hard look and being built fast. All right, because if it does kick off with China and we're back into that, what do they call it, Southwest Asia, all the little islands. Think World War II versus Japan. It's gonna be island hopping, island to island, amphibious combat, and we're gonna need those things ready. So I would like to see a huge emphasis on rebuilding the Navy and getting the fucking budgets of our ships, right? The scheduling, the maintenance, everything like just honed down on, because we don't have much time if, Plan 2027 is going to kick off in 2 years. All right. So there's going to have to be major things happening at that level. Things that I don't even understand or can't even speak about. But what I do know is ships going to the yards, not on time, and they don't come out on time. And when they come out, they're better off, but they're not 100% still. Okay. We don't have enough shipbuilding yards or yards to build ships. And we don't have enough ships being built or within budget on time. Okay? That's like my little fucking 12th grade education ass. That's what I know. And airplanes and aviation side too, right? Not enough airplanes out there getting the maintenance they need. So we need to rebuild that part. I would rebuild our military starting with the Navy. Okay? We've been the power that we have for so long because we've had the Navy to back it up. If we don't have the Navy to back it up, we're not going to be able to do that. Okay, if other countries can beat us to those islands, to those waters first, and control those waters before we get there, we're not able to help allies and everything like that. And and really that's what it is, like helping the allies. If we don't want to help them, we just want to be like, hey, that's your problem, then go ahead. Excuse me, go ahead. But it's only a matter of time before those people, it puts us in a weakened position no matter what, right? Restoring the warrior ethos. Again, I would like to know what the exact warrior ethos are, right? So we can restore them. I think that's one of those things where it's like, it depends. It's like leadership philosophy, right? Every CO has their own. So what are going to be, if we're going to say the warrior ethos of all of our military, then I would like to see really like the Honorable Secretary Hegseth's warrior ethos and what he expects. I know what I expect of myself and my sailors, but I'd like to see something like that. And I like that they put warrior ethos. We'll get into spoiler here. We have CNO Franchetti's future. People are like, oh no, is she gonna get fired or something? I don't think so. I think CNO Franchetti, and I've had other episodes, go check them out, where she's talking about us being warriors. And I think some of her stuff I really like, some of it I don't. But again, I follow the orders because they're not unlawful, and I carry it out. But like when she's talking about us, the Navy, as warriors, we really need to get on board with that. And I think Hegseth coming in and her already being there with that mindset, I don't think she should have a problem, right? I think she said, like, yeah, we are the Navy and we have the Marine Corps and we are all warriors and we need to fucking be ready to kick ass, okay? We will revive the warrior ethos and restore trust in our military. Okay, so again, revive the warrior ethos. Okay, what are they? I want more specificity. We are American warriors. Oh, boom. Again, warriors. Like, okay, like we're pounding the warrior word. Give us something more in next week, please. We will defend our country. Our standards will be high, uncompromising, and clear. The strength of our military is our unity and our shared purpose. I think that is a great line right there. And I know a lot of people have an opinion about this gentleman for all his personal and private, mishaps and sins and misfortunes and everything like that. you go ahead and cast that first stone because it ain't going to be me. All right. But I like this line, right? Because I think it nails it right here. Our military is our unity and our shared purpose, or the strength of our military is our unity and our shared purpose. It doesn't matter if you're in the division, in the department, your work center, the whole ship, the whole squadron, whatever, that CB battalion, whatever. If you don't have that same shared purpose and that unity to achieve that, you are not going to be a high functioning command. Okay. If you're all the chief's mess, right? The ward room, your first classes, if you don't all have a shared purpose, you're not going to be high functioning. If you're not united in that shared purpose, you're not going to be high functioning. You're not going to have that strength to do whatever the hell you need to do. Okay. Been part of it sometimes, have not been part of it other times. I'm telling you, like anyone that's been around for a long time, you cannot say that line is not 100% right. The strength of our military is our unity and our shared purpose. What is our shared purpose? You know, tangent here, like there's something I saw some time ago now talking about, like, it was a young lady talking about she didn't join the military to go to war and fight for their country and this and that. It came off as one of those, like, she doesn't like America fucking speeches. I don't know if she does or not. I didn't really, I paid half attention to it, so I'm half talking out of my ass. And a lot of people, what she was saying was she came here to get GI benefits, GI Bill benefits, go to school, blah, blah, blah. That's all fine and dandy too, okay? But if you're joining, don't be mistaken. All those are benefits of the service, and your service here is to provide war when called upon. Like, I don't know which other way to put it. Okay? That's what the fuck we're here for. Those other side benefits, those are cool too. I like them. I like money. I like that my family can go to the fucking doctor whenever they need to. Like, I love all of that. I never grew up with that shit. That's why I joined. The family is 100% good. I got benefits coming in. That's awesome. But you, as a military service member, your primary job is to be ready for war. Okay? And that war, I don't want it to happen, but I would rather be ready for it than not ready for it. Okay? It goes that fucking, better be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war kind of saying, right? That's like fucking Shang Tsung Wei or fucking Five Rings or something, Art of War, right? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Probably do. All right, we will rebuild our military by matching threats to capabilities. Okay, again, if we're matching threats to capabilities and we know the big red threat is out there, what is our naval capability to match that? Okay. Do not think that we're 100% better. All right, there's plenty out there you can research and look up yourself about how we are vastly outnumbered, but we do have these capabilities. But now I've had one brother on before who's talked about it some, right? Brother JB. I want more ships. I want more capabilities, right? I do not want to be going into no fucking sea fight with less guns, less ships, less sailors. That's just me, though. I don't know about you. This means reviving our defense industrial base. That one, like that one, though. We have a huge military industrial complex that feeds into war so they can keep sustaining and getting more and more money. I don't like that. I'm very anti that. But do we need ships? Do we need? It's one of those, like, what did someone say? Like, they keep building tanks, but like we're not fucking using tanks that much. Again, I'm very selfish, and I want the Navy to be the biggest, baddest fucking Navy because we're always on patrol. We're always out there, right? Other people, they go to, like, the Army, they're doing deployments to, like, Europe for fucking 6 months right now on training shit or this or that, or every now and then they're still going, downrange and doing the real shit. But a lot of that stuff's cooled off, right? The Navy, it's you could think, oh, you guys have the sea is the sea, and it'll fucking eat you up if you're not paying attention. Okay, there's always a threat out there. Okay, on those fucking sea. So I would like, if we're talking about reviving our defense industrial base, again, I want shipyards building ships. We need more shipyards. We need to get back to that World War II era, and get that going, right? And guess what else that does? That creates jobs. We can get those people into those jobs, and then you're creating, not necessarily union jobs. I don't know. That's a whole nother topic. But jobs, good paying jobs for good middle, like lower end families that could get better jobs and then work their way up into the middle class, and boom, 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 boom. There it is, right? Just like World War II, kind of, I guess. I don't know, maybe. Reforming our acquisition process, absolutely, because we are getting fucking. But so that again, reviving our industrial base, but reforming our acquisition process. We need to be in the power position here. All right, we need to be in the power position because we're getting rolled over by all these defense industrial motherfuckers. They're taking us for every fucking penny and dollar that they can squeeze out of us, and there's no repercussions for it. Yeah, sure, the ship's just 2 years late, no big deal. Very fucking big deal. Passing a financial audit. This is big. Wow. We failed again. It's like the 7th year in a row, or 7th audit, not necessarily even a year, right? I don't know how we're gonna do that. But I think that's huge that he recognizes that and he says it in here. How that's going to get done, I have no fucking clue. But it's important that he recognizes it and that it's called out. At least it's like on the list. Maybe it's just always on the list and we can never figure it out, but it's on the list, okay? And rapidly fielding emerging technologies will remain the strongest and most lethal force in the world. All right? We will reestablish deterrence by defending our homeland on the ground and in the sky. Oh, see, but he fucked up. I don't like that he didn't say on the seas. He should have said on the seas. Come on, SECDEF. We will work with allies and partners to deter aggression in the Indo-Pacific by Communist China, as well as supporting the President's priorities to end wars responsibly and reorient to key threats. We will stand by our allies, and our enemies are on notice. Again, I like this, right? I think he should have said on the seas here, because then he follows up with deterring aggression Indo-Pacific. That is the Navy. That's us. We will be doing that. We, by mean you guys, still active, because I want to be retired by then. Okay? But God bless you, and I'm fucking praying for you guys out there, all right? As well as supporting the priority to end wars, responsibility, reorient to key threats. The more shit we send to these other fucking countries, we know the 2 of them, right? The less shit we have for ourselves. I'm not for that. Okay, why would I be giving you everything I need for my own defense or for the defense of other allies when you can't get your shit together? All right, we're spread too thin. We need to fucking stop that shit, reel it back in, build back up the Navy, shipyards. I'm not going to stop beating that drum, okay? We need more ships, man. We do. Like, we really, really fucking do. All of this will be done with a focus on lethality, meritocracy. There's that word, right? We're going to look it up. Accountability, standards, and readiness. That's great. Let's go here and let's look up meritocracy meaning. Okay, here we got, let's blow that up a little bit. Government or holding of power by people selected on the basis of their ability. Progress towards meritocracy was slow. Society governed by meritocracy. Britain is a meritocracy, and everyone with skill and imagination may aspire to reach the highest level. I don't know about Britain. You could go through here and read it yourself. This is a meritocratic society or social system in which people get status or rewards because of what they achieve rather than because of their wealth or social status. But this one I like pretty good, because although I do believe this, I also know that wealth and social status fucking moves you up too. Like, we're not stupid, right? But you hope that, generation after, everyone want to talk about generation. It's funny, right? Motherfuckers will be out there talking about they're trying to create generational wealth and everything, right? They're doing they're hustling, they're doing this, they're opening their LLCs, they're making all this money because they're trying to create generational wealth. Why are you trying to create generational wealth? Right? If you are anti-meritocracy, right, then you shouldn't need to create generational wealth, because you'll just leave it up to your kids and your grandkids to fucking figure it out on their own. But we know that wealth and social status do help. Now, we look at the billionaire, millionaire kind of aspect, right? I learned a new word, nepotism, where they go, we are so rich and successful that our kids are automatically that rich and successful. So there's a whole, I've been talking about like infinite sums of less work that they have to do. Okay. And so we don't like that, of course, right? Because we're still working hard for it. We're still trying to create the first generation of wealth. But if you do create it, it's a pretty good thing, right? Accountability, standards, and readiness, right? All right, all good. I've committed my life to warfighters and their families. Just as my fellow soldiers had my back on the battlefield, know that I will have yours. Always have yours. We serve together at a dangerous time. Our enemies will neither rest nor relent, and neither will we. We will stand shoulder to shoulder to meet urgency of this moment. Like each of you, I love my country, a sworn oath to defend the Constitution. We will do that each and every day as one team. Love it. Even if it's just words, right? I think this message is on point, right? You can sit there again and you can cast the first stone if you'd like, but this message and his role as the SECDEF, I feel, is on point. Okay, that's what I'm speaking to. Together, we'll accomplish the president's mission to deter war, and if necessary, defeat and destroy our enemies. Godspeed. Again, do I want war? No, not at all. Do I want to be ready? Yes, absolutely. Do I want the next generation of sailors, soldier, marine, airmen, guardian for the Space Force out there, and the Marine, right? Do I want you all to be ready? I want you to be ready. I want you to have all the tools to do it. Because I don't want you to be placed in a situation where you don't, right? That's dangerous. Okay. Now, as people talk about him not being qualified, right? I pulled up this list of gentlemen. I say gentlemen because we've not had a female. Donald Rumsfeld way back here in 75 wasn't alive then. And we scroll down, we got all these fuckers. Dick Cheney, God, like get the fuck out of here. You can see they have like their political parties over here. That's crazy, right? Because if it's although you're nominated by the president that is that political party, and it almost always is the same, our military is supposed to be ran and governed by civilians, so we don't have some kind of general running the military and decide to get a scratchy hair up his ass or her ass even, right? And be like, you know what? I'm the general. I can fucking take over everything because I have the army and they all back me. Just like you see in the fucking movies, right? That's why we have these civilians in these different places. All the secretary of each department, the SECDEF, right? All these different. It's part of the checks and balances that was written in the Constitution, Bill of Rights, or whatever. All these different things, right? You can be like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't. Okay, let's start there. All right, but let's get into this list. All right, and so I came in 2004, and Donald Rumsfeld was the SECDEF for the second time. Okay. American politician, government official, and businessman, okay, who served once under Gerald Ford and then again under W. Bush. I'm not going to click in and read the whole thing, but I'm focused because a lot of people are saying, oh, Hegseth, he's not qualified. So, and I watched some of the hearing. So my question is always like, what's the qualification then? Okay. If you're telling me like, I'm not qualified, tell me what the fucking qualification is. Give me a list of qualifications. Just like if you're applying for a job and you say, I have to have all these things, then I expect anyone to get that job has all of these things. Or the person that has, the most of these things, the 5 out of 10, the 8 out of 10, or the 5 out of 6, or whatever, 3 out of 5, whatever it is, right? However many there are, whoever has the most, coupled with experience and maybe some other, X factors, if you will, okay, would be qualified enough. So what is the qualifying factors here to be SECDEF? I saw one, what is the senator? I think it was senator, right? Actually, like kind of saying, well, you haven't even ran any like big businesses or organizations. Oh, well, what does a big business have to do with the fucking military? right? Are we corporate or are we in the military? The answer would be we've turned to very corporate, and that's why they look at those things, right? If you can run maybe fucking Microsoft or some fucking high, what do you call that? Fucking money market, fucking, BlackRock or some shit, then you're qualified to run the military. What? Like, I don't even get that. Okay, so and that's why I go here because when we look at this is my first SECDEF. He was an American politician. Oh, like kind of who I don't want running the fucking military, right? Or I mean, are they all politicians? Like quote unquote definition, they're all politicians. Government official and businessman, cool. Robert Gates, what was he? American intelligence analyst and university president who served as the 22nd SECDEF. He was appointed by W. Bush and retained by Obama. Okay, so he was under one Republican and then under Democrat, under Obama. Okay, American intelligence analyst. That's pretty cool. I think that's like a qualifying factor. University president. What the fuck does that got to do with being in charge of the military? I don't know. I'm not saying he's bad or good. I'm just pointing out real quick what was some of their background is. American retired politician, government official who has served under several Democratic administrations as Secretary of Defense from 11 to 13. The CIA, 2000. So he went from the CIA. Leon Panetta went from the CIA to SECDEF, right? And he was the White House Chief of Staff from 94 to 97. That's under Bill Clinton. Again, so like a lot of politician roles, right? What qualified him to be the director of the CIA, right? Again, a lot of these, what I get when I look at a lot of these, where we get to more here, is an American politician, Army veteran. Okay, here's a veteran. First one that I served under that says veteran, like in this quick, maybe more than were, but this one calls it out just in this little roll over here. Okay, he was SECDEF 13-15 under Obama. He was the chairman of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board from 2009. So he went from the Intelligence Advisory Board up to SECDEF. Okay, but again, that there's nothing before that big call out. Maybe we'd have to click in and read everything. I'm not doing that right now. Was an American government official, Ash Carter, who served 25th from then to then. He later served director of the Belfer Center for Science and International Affairs at Harvard, whatever. Again, American government official. Is it because he was the SECDEF? So that's what qualified him as a government official? What did he do before that? Again, if it doesn't even call it out. Now this guy, General Mattis. I think we know him, right? Military veteran who served as 26. Okay, 17-19, retired Marine Corps 4-star general. He commanded forces of Persian Gulf, the Iraq. Okay, so here's someone that has some defense, big time experience, right? Now, even under General Mattis here, the SECDEF, if you remember, there was fussing and fighting about him taking over because they're supposed to be X number of years removed from uniform to become these people in these positions. And of course, though, as with anything with the military, there's waiver for that. So some people didn't want him to become SECDEF because he was too close to the troops. Many troops, especially the Marines, still fucking love the dude. They're like, hell yeah, fucking General Mattis is our SECDEF. That's why they have that rule. Again, going back to like why we have the Constitution of civilians being in charge, because you don't want a general to be in charge where there's such gravitational pull to the general and not to our commander in chief, where you could have a movie type coup where the military takes over the government. Right? We don't want that. Okay. Further than we all know that General Mattis, SECDEF, he got fired, quit, whatever it was, right? I got to read his book. I got to put that on the list. Here, this guy, Shanahan, American businessman, chief executive officer of Spirit Aerosystems. Okay. A former United States federal government official who served as acting secretary. All right, cool. Again, nothing that. Then we went back to Esper again, or for the first time, American politician and manufacturing high-tech executive who served as, okay, like, again, nothing here that's standing out. It's just, then we had Spencer, all right, American politician, businessman who served as so he was secretary of the Navy and then kind of like fleeted up to or he was also briefly served as acting SECDEF, right? So at least it makes sense that like if you started off as a secretary of a department and then you went up to SECDEF, at least to me that's qualifying experience. But again, we could bump that one level down. Go, what qualifies you to be a secretary of a department, right? Then you got Mark Esper again. Um, then you got this guy Miller. I think was this guy. I think this was the guy that fucking went on to the, or no, was that the SecNav? I forget, the one that went on to the TR during COVID and went on the 1MC and said some crazy shit and then was immediately fucking relieved. All right, so this guy was Army Special Forces colonel. Okay, so there's military experience, right? So, and it goes on. And okay, we got Norco. He's got Lloyd Austin, who's another general. That's a good one, right? Again, had to have a waiver because of things. And then this guy was the acting person. I guess all the yellow ones are acting, right? So you can see here for a while we had a few under the Trump era right here, right? A couple of people had to step in there. But and then that was Pete Hegseth. What I'm saying is, what qualified any of these people? The military experience of the ones that had it, I think some of them stood out as some of the better maybe SecDefs. But again, how do you qualify what is better or not, right? I don't know how, right? I'm not at that level. I can't tell you that. But if we're looking at this as like at a deck plate level, right? Do I want somebody leading the military, leading my department and division that is so far removed and has no fucking clue or idea about the military, and they want to run us, the military, like a corporation? Or do I want something that's a little bit more relatable, that's not so far removed, right? That knows, how it feels to be at that, down there. What's that? Because then we got the vice president, right, who was a E4, I think combat camera or something in the Marines, right? So it's like we got the E4 mafia running in the White House, and then there's like fucking Jo running the whole SecDef, right? Because he was like a lieutenant commander or army, so major. Again, it just I don't, like I said. Don't get me wrong. The Honorable Hegseth has plenty of problems with him. Personal life and things like that. I'm not throwing the first stone. Okay, so I just hope he does a good job. I hope he does a good job and he gets us the tools, and the services that we need as military to keep doing our job, right? I hope he gets us more money, right? I hope that he gets our branch heads, our service leaders, the CNO, the MIGPON, all the commandants, and all the other generals and everyone up there fighting with Congress to get everyone more money. All right. I hope he's in their ass about the fucking barracks, right? Being that he was an 04 and probably 04 National Guard, probably not that bad of a life, right? But I hope he recognizes, along with like the vice president, right? Those shitty living conditions that they probably had back then, or maybe not Hegseth, but the vice president, and they push and fight for us because they're closer to remembering than a lot of other people, a lot of executives and generals that did their 40 years in honorable service, and thank them for it, right? But they're so far removed from the fucking shit, right, that they've become politicians and they look through everything as a politician glass, and we need someone that just fucking doesn't do that, and we look through it closer to a service member, and I think we had that a little bit with General Mattis, right? But I think we could have that more, that looks through these problems and to find solutions closer through our own perception of a service member's point of view than a lot of what we've had in the past. That's all I want from it. Okay, again, all the personal stuff aside, that's not what I'm here to talk about. Okay, I'm here to talk about what we need him to do for us in the military now. All right. And then again, I kind of got to this a little bit earlier, but like Cino Franchetti's future, I'd like to keep her around. Again, I'm not on board with everything she's ever said. I mean, I am on board because she's the CNO, and I say aye, man. But I think her focus on the Warrior and getting us ready for that fight, I think it's been fucking great. Her messaging has been on point. Do I think there's a DEI stuff that has been happening in the Navy? Yeah, I do. Right. I think it's strange that never before, what, maybe 3-4 years ago, results of chief boards and stuff never had any kind of ethnicity breakdown or anything like that. But then when like the DEI stuff started coming around and like talking more and more about DEI, and I'm talking about just in the public sphere, out in society, there's a change where you could find the statistics, the demographics of the board results, right? And let me see if I could go find one right now. And let's go senior chief, convenient board. Oh, here we go. Board statistics. Let's go. Let's share this. So for the longest time, this had never been information that was put out there. So this was last year's, right? 16 April 25. That doesn't make sense. That hasn't happened yet. Right? Am I tripping right now? Chat? Let me know. But so it breaks it down, right? Here's everything, right? Here's your demographics over here and everything. And it says who was eligible, the total selected, the percent of it, how many females were eligible and how many were selected. And you could go through this with every rating, right? And just see what it was. Now, what does this mean? It could mean fucking nothing, right? I'm not saying it means anything. I'm just saying they started doing it all of a sudden when a lot of this stuff started being talked about. Is it for transparency? Sure, maybe. Is transparency good? Yeah, it is. But it goes back to that word meritocracy. And again, I'm just learning words, right? As I watch things and I look them up to see what it means, and I'll read through Google, and you can never trust the internet. But let's just look at, LSEs here. American Indian Alaska Natives, right? There's 10 chiefs, LSEs, that identify, I guess that's the word we use, but that mark that box, okay? Eligible. 2 were selected, that's 20%, okay? Asian, there were 88, 16, that's 18%. Black African, there was 126, 22, that's 17. Hawaiian Pacific Islander, there were 10, only one of those. And the whites, which I fucking hate white and black. That shit's so stupid. They're colors, and I fucking hate that we get fucking identified as colors. We as like humans. 105, 18, 17. Again, then you got the female category over here. There are no female American Indian Alaska Native. There are 23 Asian, 5 of which were selected. Black African, there's 3 out of 42, 7%. No Hawaiian, no white. There were no white female LSEs selected out of 12. Okay. And then out of Hawaiian, there's 0 out of 2. And again, it goes down. Decline to respond. That's me. I declined to fucking respond. So then there was 0 selected. Multiple race codes. Okay, 4710. So Hispanic, there was 97 and 17. So again, why do we the minority total? What is the minority total? Right? Like what is the number that they're counting as the minorities? There's total 487, 378. So that's 110. So is it the whites and the decline to respond 109? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, but I mean, let's just look at the word minority, and I know there's more white people in the country, but the minority in this group was the white people, right? We had less than Black African. We're second largest, right? It's a pretty LSCs. I mean, we're pretty even across the board with everyone. But yeah, again, why did they start this? I don't know, right? And again, you could go on My Navy HR. It's all right there, right? Board statistics, right? Let's it goes just back to FY23. So look right here. It's not in FY22. It's in FY23 though. Again, I'm just asking questions here. Why did they start doing this? Because to me, if the board is if everything the board is about picking the best, what do all you master chiefs like to say? Sustain superior performance. If that's what it's about, why does anyone need to know or see the demographic breakout? Right? What I believe, if we're showing demographic breakouts, it's to show that we're being fair on a demographic level, which means that there are, I'm not saying this is what it is, which in my brain, this is how my brain works, which means that there are demographic quotas that have to be fulfilled and taken into consideration. Does that mean that we're always picking all of the best? I don't know, right? Because who's to say, the number 5 best purple person gets cut out because the number 10th yellow person, I shouldn't say yellow, yellow and purple person, they're a Laker fan, right? You know what I mean? Like it gets, I don't know, man. I don't. It gets very suspicious when you start doing stuff like that, because it got to make you scratch your head a little bit about why are we showing that stuff. Now, you know what? If you just come out and say there are demographic quotas and we're going to match or make these demographic quotas part of it, then at least we know, right? At least we know. Now, if you're doing it there in the tank, right, and you're not talking about it, and it's part of that secret hidden agenda that you're sworn to some super secret oath, then that's a problem, right? And I think that when we take it back to the nav admin, now that the nav admin isn't talking about the board process, but it is talking about things like that. If there are those things out there, they're gone, right? Again, just questioning things out loud here. Back to Franchetti, because it got sidetracked. I think she is in a perfect spot to continue to do good things for the Navy. Okay. I think her being focused on us being warriors, sailors that are warriors, is a great spot to be focused. It's always good to be able to read the room of your boss, or read the room that your boss is in, even though her boss used to be President Joe Biden, Commander in Chief, right now, new boss. If you can align yourself with where the boss needs to go, and eventually it's going to get there, whether it's whoever it is, it doesn't fucking matter, right? But because you're supposed to be leading our service, and that we do need to be warriors out there on the sea, then you're good to go. That you're not, if you're doing right, you can't be wrong. Okay. And I think she's doing right. And I've said it before, especially with her, like a warrior letter. And again, go back and watch that one. I didn't agree with every single thing or the way it was said or worded or anything, but are we on the right track? Yes, we are. Now that we got the SECDEF coming in and they want to get the military strong again, and the industrial base and all this and that, I think we just need to make a big focus and be stingy and ask for more attention. The Navy needs to ask for more attention. Okay. We're the middle child and we need more attention. All right. Reading through some of these comments on here is just, she's certainly not in a comfortable position. It definitely is extremely complicated, because she's seemingly shown up, done her job, and done it well, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. It does, right? If we're looking at it like, as have you been doing your fucking job, then it absolutely fucking means something. I think a lot of people, again, are trying to pull in all these other statements that the Honorable Hegseth has said, and what he's going to do, just be like, hey, you're fucking fired because I don't believe he has said women in combat and all that, and maybe we'll talk about that on another episode. Let me know down in the comments if you want me to talk about that. You're just going to fucking shit can the CNO? Come on now. Like that would be wild. That would there's a line of like, do you want to make everything they hate you for come true on your first week, or do you want to take the time and kind of let it? I don't know. CNO's not getting fired. They're talking about someone else, the Coast Guard person getting fired for some Operation Foul Anchor. That's a whole nother thing. I might have to get into that. I think if she bent the knee and swore an oath of loyalty, she'd be safe for a bit. But from what I've heard, her loyalty is something much greater and better. What is all of our loyalty to here, people? Right? Like all these fucking. It goes back to what I was talking about, that young lady who made this TikTok or where the fuck ever, right? You stand there, you raise your right hand, right? I'm mirrored here on camera, okay? And you swear an oath to the Constitution, okay? That's what we're all sworn to. We fulfill that the best we can every day through the chain of command, okay? I don't think anyone has ever really fucking looked back and been like, except maybe the COVID shots. I think that's where, you get kind of how lawful was that, right? And again, that's why they've come out and said all those people are going to be reinstated if they want to, with back pay. Which that part I don't agree with, because your ass wasn't fucking serving, so I don't think you should get back pay, right? But I think there should be an option if you want to be joined back up, reinstated, and like full on, hey, you're back to being whatever rank you were. Sure, go for it. Like we need sailors, get them back, and it's not like it's a whole lot, but yeah, come back in, go to sea, get on a fucking ship. That's your first duty station. You've been on shore for a while. Get back onto a ship. I have no problem with it. The only this is we'll start wrapping up here. The only oath an officer takes is to the Constitution. The word president is not present in our oath. Ergo, any president or superior ranking officer who has a problem with an officer putting their loyalty to the Constitution, blah 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 blah. Exactly. I love to hear this about one of our top leaders. I'm glad someone with those convictions was able to tough it out and climb the ranks to the level she has. That said, that doesn't bond well for her, I don't think. Like, oh my God. Shit like this, from shit posters like this, right? They just feeding into the paranoia that so many people want to happen so they can sit on the side of the aisle they're sitting on and say, I told you so. I was right. It's fucking pitiful, man. Here's the unfortunate reality is, despite all her talents, a 5'4" woman doesn't scream warrior culture in the eyes of this administration. This administration, all of for fucking 6 days. How the fuck? Like, come on, man. It will be their loss. I just hope they allow her to leave with dignity she deserves by being fired on X some random evening. Maybe it happens, and if it does, you'll hear from me first right here live on Bravo Zulu. But I don't think she has too much to concern about. Who knows? Who fucking knows, though, right? That's what's funny. I don't know. There is that video of her deadlifting. They go nuts for that shit. Who's they? Right? SECDEF Hegseth. That's not what mothers and caregivers should be doing. Fire her. It's fucking stupid. Man. The CNO's priorities since day one have been warfighting. Yes, agreed. Combine that with the success of the fleet has had an actual high-end combat over the past year plus. She's in good position. This is new information. Thanks for putting it out there. What's new what's new information? Again, I think this fucking person is, we could go their shit. Oh, there's so many shit posters, right? That they post just to continue. They've been around for a while. 150-day streak. Wow. This is the type of Reddit person. I don't have a life, y'all. Y'all know this. I'm geobashing. But I've cut down my Reddit time a lot. This shit right here, if you've been on Reddit 150 days straight, fuck, what they say, go touch grass, motherfucking touch grass, laying it so much that you get grass allergy. Okay, they need to fucking chill out on this shit. But again, I think they're like a fucking, it's a shit post kind of stuff, man. People need to get a fucking life. But that's all I got tonight. I just, again, look, whatever your feelings are, the world's not ending. Okay, your career isn't ending unless you want it to end. All right. Again, when I was a junior sailor, I remember hearing, even as a senior sailor, through all my 20 years now, it's a fucking long time now, I've heard people of all ranks, of all fucking differences and diversities, shit talk the next president, the incoming president, the outgoing president, the new SECDEF, the old SECDEF, the SECNAV, their chief, their commanding officer, the XO, the CMC, their new LPO, their new chief. It doesn't fucking matter. We're human, and one of the first things we love to do is hate and shit talk when someone isn't exactly what we want them to be in our eyes. All right? So, stop feeding into the paranoia. Stop feeding into the fucking hate saying it, but like the victim mentality of like, I'm really scared for what's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna happen. Your ass is gonna show up to work and keep fucking working. That's what you need to be worried about. Get the fuck off Reddit. Get the fuck out of your feelings. There's no money there. All right. Get into your PQS. Get the fucking PQS done. Get better at your job. Become a better Navy sailor warrior. Okay. Because there's more important things that will be coming on the horizon of war to take that one from the watch. Okay. And we as a nation, we as a military, we as a Navy, right, need to be ready for that. Focus on that and stop focusing on this shit. All right. This cookie's gonna crumble however it crumbles. Okay. Don't worry about if you can't fucking have a cookie sale fucking next Wednesday that you thought you were gonna have. You know what? That's good. Don't do that cookie sale. One, my fat ass don't need that cookie. And but we need to go get that PQS done. Okay. With that being said, don't forget, when I'm on here, I'm just talking for myself. All right. These views and opinions are expressed only of myself, not reflective of the DOD. See that? The DON or the respected institutions or organizations. It's just me on here sharing my thoughts and opinions with you. Let me know what you think about all this situation. The SECDEF, if you know the CNO, or if you serve Navy, let us know what you think. Is she safe? Not safe? How are your feelings and opinions on it? Let me know down in the comments. Give us a like, subscribe. We'll be live later this week with a guest. And we got a couple more interviews coming up with some people. And, just stay tuned. All right. Thank you.